All right, for those of you that wanted to learn how we do the announcements, with working with Adobe Premiere, it's very important that you first create folders where you're going to organize all your stuff. So I have here Harmony Tiger Vision. Inside I have the episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to be working with episode 4 because it is a short one and easy to do. Double click episode 4, and then I have an audio folder, a projects folder, a video folder, and then finally my final version is just left in the root directory so that I can be able to access this particular video quickly when I need to upload it to YouTube. Now under my videos, I'm going to have the videos that were used, and then under my projects are going to be the projects that I used, and then under audio is just going to be any music or anything that I needed to use, which at the moment I believe I have it in my downloads. Let me double check. Yeah, it's right here. So actually Control X, Documents, Harmony Tiger Vision, here, audio, and paste. All right, so first things after you have all your files organized is to open up Premiere. Give that some time because it does take a while. All right, now that it's here, we can go ahead and I already have it here, but I'm gonna just do a new project so you can see how it's done. But new project, right? When you click new project, the window will always pop up. What do you want to call it? Where do you want to save it? So first I go to browse, and I'm gonna head over to documents. I'm gonna head over to Harmony Tiger Vision, go to episode 4, and under my projects, that's where I'm gonna click that I want it. So right here, I'm pretty much, please select the destination path for your new project. It's going to be inside my projects folder. Click select, and I'm gonna name it episode 4 tutorial, and then click OK. And then once this opens up, then we're able to start importing the files. Now, there's a way you can import the files so that you can keep them organized and don't have to deal with an unorganized project area or media area. So right here, I'm just going to double click, and I'm going to head to episode 4. And notice when I click on these particular folders, it does tell me to import the folder versus to just import specific things, right? So like if I click here, I can open a specific file. But if I come and click on the actual folder, like right now, I'm going to hold Control, click on both of these and put import folders. The cool thing about it is that it imports as a folder. So I guess it only imports one at a time. I'll go back and click videos, import folder. There you go. And now when I open this up, I can see my videos and my files are there. Now, for your sequence, you always want to right click. Well, actually, I just kind of copy the sequence that I already recorded so that I can be able to use that. But I'll explain that in a second. So if you all don't remember, if you double click a specific video, that allows you to preview the video. And you can kind of go through here. So this is the part that's a little bit time consuming because you have to make sure you can spot the mistakes. And so, for example, I'm going to click here, play. 2, 1.
High school.
So that was the countdown, right? And so the countdown needs to be removed. So I'm going to go back. 1.
High school students.
Now notice what I did. These little things right here are your marks in and your mark out. So you can actually choose where you want your video to start and where you want your video to end. So I'm starting it right here.
High school students, star review is underway starting this week. Please make sure you ask your teachers for the correct dates and times for your test. A regular schedule will be posted in the next edition of Tiger Vision.
Alright, so he messed up, right? But if we were going to use this one, right around here would be the end mark, and I would just click this. This would be my video. I click on the actual video file itself, and I can drag it down here. That's going to create my sequence. Notice the difference between these icons. These are video files, and this is a sequence file. It's very important that you rename your sequence so that it's not named the same as one of your videos. So I'm just going to click on it and name this episode 4 Tiger Vision, right? And just click that. Now it's named episode 4 Tiger Vision, and it's at the very bottom. Luckily, it's already separated from everything else, which is important. Once we have all our videos, right? Like, let's say I kind of go through it and I find my in and I find my out. And I'm like, okay, that's the video I need here. Then I need this one. Now, obviously, I'm going to give you all a script, and you guys can find the script, right? Like, follow along to the script so you know who's supposed to talk when. But pretty much put that in order, right? And let's say, oh, okay, this is the entire video now that we need. Everything's been cut into place. Everything looks good, right? If you do need to make minor adjustments here, you can use these guys to kind of zoom in and zoom out. And you can just kind of come in here and cut a little bit from the end. Maybe there's a part in the center where they messed up and you want to cut that out. You can use the razor tool. And you can cut here, select this, and you can delete the part you don't need. When you have empty spots like this, you can always just click on the empty spot, right click, and put ripple delete, and that'll bring them close together. So now you have your video, and this is your final footage that you need to do. Well, what we need to do now, and this is just to make it all easier, we're going to select everything, right click, and we're going to click nest. When we click nest, it's going to ask us to name this new sequence that we're creating. We're going to name it episode 4 nested and press OK. So now notice that all our videos turned into just one video, and it's all set to green. What this allows us to do is, instead of us having to go in here one by one and adjust the audio, we can now go in there and adjust everything at the same time. So like if I wanted to add an effect, I have to add it to this one, then to this one, then to this one. But if I right click, and go to nest, and they're all selected, I put episode 4 nested. And it shows up here as episode 4 nested. And then I can go over here and search for noise. And I'm going to put denoise. So notice how the audio sounds right now.
For June.
You hear all that emptiness. So we're going to go to denoise and add denoise to our audio. And then we're going to go over to the effect controls. Under effect controls, we can minimize the motion. We don't need to move anything there, or opacity. However, we do need to mess with denoise. So we're going to go over to edit. And right here, we're just going to preview it. So press spacebar.
This is an opportunity to spread the word about the importance
and you can move this little number around until you get something that sounds good.
This is mandatory. For June.
So notice how you can still hear it. So if we go higher in the percentage,
this is an opportunity to spread the word about the importance and impact of SEO.
And so that sounds pretty good. Then I can close it. And then the last thing would be Ultra key. So you can type here Ultra. You see Ultra key right here. Drag it to the video. In the video, once it's added, then of course you go to Ultra key. You can select this little green, this little eyedropper tool. When you select it, you click on the green. Now, even though you may think that looks good, it's not done yet. It needs a lot of work. You're going to go over to Alpha Channel. And when you go into Alpha Channel, you can see what's black should be completely black and what's white should be completely white. Now you notice there's a mix of colors here. So we're going to open up the matte generate and just kind of mess around with these. So like the shadow, you can move it around. So all I'm doing is clicking and dragging left and right. So I want to make it to where it's all completely black. Now my highlights, I want to make my highlights a little bit brighter. Essentially, I'm trying to erase some of these things. So you notice this looks a little bit transparent there. So you want to make sure you can mess around with that as you need to. Then matte cleanup, you can do mess around with the choke. Midpoint. So all these are just stuff that you'll have to kind of mess around with until you get a pretty clean outcome. Once it looks pretty clean, then you can go to composite. You should end up with your results. And then let's double click to import my image. I believe my image might be in my downloads as well, so I need to fix that. But essentially you can get whichever background you're going to be using. In my case, I was using this. Open. And I'm going to drag my video file up one and bring my picture right here in the center and just drag it all the way across. Now you notice, oh, I didn't nest that other video. That's fine. Now you notice that the picture is kind of small, and so we need to fix that. So I'm going to go over to episode 4 and lock this and then highlight it. Cover it really quick. Now I'll be able to, lock it as well. Now I'll be able to select this little one and I can make this a little bit bigger. Now I don't like the way they look like that, because when you bring this back up, you see it like a lot or whatnot. So I like to select it, go here and type blur, and I head over to Gaussian blur and I add that in there. And then under Gaussian blur, I just put this to like maybe 30 and it kind of blurs it. Now notice that this thing kind of looks off, so we need to come here and fix it. There's some light there that looks like it's a little bit messed up, so we need to lower that down. Mess with our shadows a bit more. And then back to composite.
In the next edition of Tiger Vision. Yes, STAR tests for high school students is mandatory for June.
Alright, like obviously the cuts are wrong. I didn't want to spend too much time with the cuts. I just wanted to show you the example. But essentially once you have this, then the last step is to just add your audio. And so I'll put the audio here. Now, things that you can kind of mess around with in the audio, like once you have it in the background,
For the correct dates and times for your test.
it's going to be like the audio that you want to mess around with. So we're going to actually go in here and just kind of bring this down. That'll give you this little white line, and this is pretty much your audio, so you can control it.
Is underway starting this.
If I highlight this, if I bring it up, and you can see the audio, right? So what you want to do is you want to start adding keyframes, right? Anywhere that you want, doesn't really matter. You can move them around later. But as you start adding keyframes, you can readjust these keyframes to do certain things. So for example, if I kind of zoom in a little bit, I can say, okay, well, I want it loud there, but then I want it to start getting low when he starts talking. And so I want it to stay low all the way to here. And then I want it to get higher as it gets to the end and kind of progressively move up and then stay loud all the way through. So
in the next week, STAR review is underway starting this week. Please make sure you ask your teachers for the correct.
And then if I zoom over here,
There's an opportunity to spread the word about the importance and impact of SEO. Working together, we can
and then the audio comes back, right? So you guys have that option there. Then once everything is done, just make sure that everything that you don't need is deleted and you don't have anything at the very end of your video. Then you can just go to File, Export, and then Export Media. When you export media, this part is actually very important. Right here it needs to say H.264, but under preset you need to scroll down and put YouTube 1080p at full HD. And then you need to make sure that you're saving it to your episode 4 folder, like right here. And I'll name this episode 4 Tiger Vision tutorial. Press save. And then you can put export. And once that's done, then that is the entire video announcements completed. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this makes some sense. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask me. And good luck on the videos. Feel free to do anything that you want with them that's kind of fun if you so choose to. But yeah, thanks. Bye-bye. Peace.